I'd like to start with a roll call.
Reagan,
Here.
Forsythe,
Here.
Lightfoot,
Here.
Sheridan,
Here. Here.
Here.
Hall,
Here.
Bay,
Here.
Haggard, here, Webster,
Here. Here.
Present.
Dear Heavenly Father, this evening, we thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here as citizens of this great and wonderful nation. A nation rich with equal opportunities, religious freedom, justice, and tolerance. Too often, however, we take the rights and privileges that have been afforded us by those who have gone before for granted. We ask that you grant us the wisdom to accept all people, children of God. Grant us the wisdom to be tolerant and just in our dealings with one another. Grant this body the wisdom to make the best decisions during our deliberations. The courage to stand behind them. Give us the strength to put aside our differences for greater good. When our evening's work has been completed, we ask that you guide each of us on our journeys home and bring us all to safe return. For all these things, we ask your divine guidance and blessing. In Jesus Christ, your Son, whose name all things are possible.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Matt, second from Mr. Curran. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Need an approval of the minutes of July 3rd. Moved by Mr. Gannett, second by Mr. Hall. Any discussion on the minutes of July 3rd? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Kelly, do we have any? Okay.
thank you card was received from the family of Lex Cunningham. Thank you card was received from Kathy.
Part of citizen participation. Any citizen wanting to address the board is asked to stand at the microphone, state their name before beginning their talk. The citizen participation will be in the form of an oral address directed to the members of the board. This part of the agenda is not a time for audio, visual, PowerPoint presentations or performances. And the address will be limited to 5 minutes. First on the list, John Wayne Johnson. Hello.
Thank you very much. And for the record, I was not named after you, but both of my parents. New York, Justin. I will make this short and sweet as much as I can. John Wayne Johnston, Hamden, New York, mighty metropolis at 10110 Point Road, New York. I am coming before the Legislative Council. I am asking for help and protection of my 2 daughters, Bria Johnston, age 15, Freya Johnston, age 14. For over a decade, there has been multiple CPS investigations against their mother. There is currently the second one that's happened within this year. There was indicated back in 2018. Why am I waiting until now? It's actually with enough. I have 2 children. out of the 5 that she's had with 4 different fathers. Her name is Alyssa Curley. The father is Christopher Curley, attorney, former town justice, a former law guardian, which I find absurd, and has been able to brush under the carpet an indicated report that I have the facts on. When I contacted the commissioner several times over the past month, I have not received a phone. I contacted our DA in regards to a near fatal accident regarding Gray, my 14-year-old, that has now cost her 2 plates in her arm because her mother was not supervising her and allowing her to ride around and TV with 15, 14, 13-year-olds while she was intoxicated. I called the DA several times. I wanted this case investigated. I have everything documented, who I spoke with, dates and times, and I can never return, I've never received. I am asking for protection of my daughters because clearly this system of DSS in St. Lawrence County, and CP and CPS in St. Lawrence County, if you know somebody, you got it named. I have it on recording where Alyssa Curley was indicated for abuse and malpractice, 2018. I have it on recording for her father, attorney Christopher Curley, at the time working for the county. Alyssa, you need to come up with her line so I can get you out of this. There's currently an investigation going on. Obviously, conflict of interest, none of the justices can be involved except for a Craig Carrera, who's already stonewalling me and pushing this aside, which I'm not surprised. He shares the same office. Furthermore, this person, listen, was given a pistol permit carried concealed under Jerome Richards when it was recommended by BCI investigations that she does not receive them. And we all know Jerome Richards did not hand out any pistol permits, but yet she gets carried concealed. What I request, small committee, individual, I want to look into DSS, find out what's going on. I already spoke with Becky Emerald, I think her last name, Emlaw. And when I brought up the case number and the information and evidence I had, she became very agitated. I'm also requesting that possibly the county attorney, Mr. Button, could be involved so we can find out what's going on. My children have refused to go back to their mother. They are residing with me. And right now I'm looking at a family court system that's pushing it away. Lastly, when Cecily Morris, as I refer to as the Sandrinist magistrate, when she did her bench ruling after 2.5 years of a custody case that I initiated, 2.5 years, she stated that neither party were on the abuse registry with CPS, abuse and neglect, when Alyssa Curley was live right on the bench. I have the proof. I also have the proof when she violated my civil rights. That's all I need to say. I'm hoping it doesn't fall on deaf ears, as this has been falling on deaf ears. SS, CPS, RDA, etc. Thank you.
Next on the list, Susan Catton.
My name is Susan McCaffrey and I reside in Golden Orchard. I'm here to talk to the legislator about not getting paid doing my duties. It's a very sad thing, you go through the paperwork, yours gets in there, and then you go become an elector for 15 hours, and then you don't get paid. So I feel like I'm being punished because I have to go to pay to the lottery people that said they told the same when I was one of the first. I've also been told they went by alphabetical order why I got much help. That's not fair. I don't believe H&R or whoever does this stuff. I don't believe they went alphabetical order. Either my folder left behind somewhere or whatever. Anything I answered didn't get put on. Huh? You want to pay. Hold on. On the premise, that shouldn't have, they let you work. You should have been paid. Went on TV, they only asked. And there's in later than me, they got paid and I didn't. That's upsetting, it needs to change. You cannot go on and on and on. So, I hope you people are listening, I see the changes, I hope everybody else. Excellent. I did. Now.
Thank you. Sam Bryant.
Evening, my name is Samuel Bryan. I am a much inspector. I live in the town of Pine, Star Lake. And I had no idea that we had to do any of this paperwork to, with the, become county employees to be able to get paid. And I don't know who's at fault, if it's Board of Elections or Human Resources, but someone failed to notify all inspectors. And I'm also speaking for my fellow inspectors from the town of Pine that we were never notified about this change. And according to the news report and everything that speak with Board of Elections, that there is a law in effect. I have not found anywhere this law that states that inspectors have to be county employees. Secondly, it makes no financial sense on the county's part to have us as part-time employees at all, when we only do one primary, an election, our yearly training, and possibly a secondary primary if it is set up that way. It's financially irresponsible of this board and the county to have us as employees, and also to have us enroll in the retirement program. Many of the inspectors are already retirees. And a lot of the inspectors have full-time jobs that they take their time off to be able to facilitate the election. So somewhere, someone groups up, and I would like to know who, why, what, when, and where. Thank you for your time. That is all.
Thank you very much. Next up is Wes Lincoln.
Good evening. My name is Wes Lincoln. Myself and my wife operate Tri-Town Kids Daycare Center in Fraser Falls. We spoke here last month, and at first it seemed as though we may have gotten the attention we needed. However, I'm not certain we have all the attention we need. I do want to state that I sincerely do appreciate the legislators that have reached out since last month, and I appreciate the time and attention of our district legislator, John Jennett. Little backstory, in May of 2022, we applied for the RFA1 Daycare Desert Grant. We were pre-approved for this grant in late July, and with that, we were given 120 days to open our center. We were able to purchase a 5,000 square foot building, do a full renovation, and pass 13 inspections. We were able to hire staff, advertise, and begin enrolling children within 118 days. Within 118 days from the day we received the notification. This was made possible by our town and our surrounding communities who gave us their full support. We were one of only 3 centers in the North Country region of 6 counties that were awarded this to help address not only our town, but the entire county's daycare needs. We were approved for a $400,000 grant to pay out quarterly throughout June of 2024. We have 6 extensive deliverables that must be met quarterly, holding us to very high standards across the board, even higher than those of OCFS. Today, we still have up to $200,000 on the line that can be used to grow our program and invest in our community. St. Lawrence County has since Department of Social Security. Since then, St. Lawrence County Department of Social Services has targeted us in a supposed fraud investigation based on what my wife apparently self-reported to a worker at the St. Lawrence County daycare. Since then, we have the constant threat of being removed from the Child Care Assistance Program. Removal of this from this program would be detrimental to our business and the families that depend on our facility for their child care needs. Our current numbers have 19 children enrolled in the CCAP program and an additional 3 approved that will start soon. In the month of July, we billed $13,240 for children that received CCAP at our center. While our St. Lawrence County DSS investigator has chose to leave us in this questionable state, waiting for it to be relayed to the district attorney's office, we're not sure if our daycare will remain in business or not. Our state licensor has since able to come into our center, do a full audit, and as a result of the audit, New York State Office of Children and Family Services, the ones responsible for the oversight of our program, have chosen to unsubstantiate the claims made by St. Lawrence County Department of Social Services based on a full review of our documents. I'm not sure we could provide something that speaks more volumes than that does in itself. But the Office of Children and Family Services chose to unsubstantiate St. Lawrence County Department of Social Services. Currently, we're attempting to apply for a workforce retention grant, which would provide each of our employees with a cash bonus through OCFS. However, we have no idea if we're still considered in good standing with the Department of Social Services, which would prevent us from applying for this grant. We now have 10 employees at our center, and this grant would funnel $30,000 down to those child care workers. Yet St. Lawrence County has chosen to discourage a new business once again. I know as a code enforcement officer in the town of Brazier, I work directly with our county planning department, and they work hard to ensure we have growth in our region. Aside from our pending investigation, we have many concerns that continue to go unanswered from the Department of Social Services, and I'm unsure where else to go from here.
Thank you. And last, we have Christina McCarthy.
Good evening, everyone. We are back again this month searching for help. My name is Christina McCarthy. My background is a registered nurse, mother of 5 boys, and as of November of last year, for 8 months in now, owner and director of Tri-Town Kids Daycare Center in Brazier Falls. We have a licensed capacity of 57. We started the last week of November with 6 children, and as of today, we have 35 adults and 4 more that will be starting by September. At opening, we wanted to participate in the CCAP program, the Child Care Assistance Program. This is managed through the daycare unit at the Department of Social Service here in St. Lawrence County. In 2019, a family of 4 can make just over $50,000 to qualify. Today, a family of 4 can make $90,000 and qualify. This program has amazing potential. And last year, St. Lawrence County utilized 29% of the allocated funds at the state. We had little to no education or training offered to us as a brand new business and provider upon our start this past winter. 1 piece of paper with multiple errors to manage the program. Those were corrected in February when a new piece of paper was issued for direction on everything. I had and still do question things, lots of things. It's who I am. I've been told I'm difficult, and I understand that that is a potential. But I have also put a target on myself for asking these questions and expecting answers on why things are done the way they are. We had families that were denied based on old policy or inaccurate calculations of income. I challenged these. I have gone to state training I found on my own driving 6 hours away to attend. I have made contacts at the state level with the CCAP program to better understand the outdated information the county has offered. I've advocated and have done so extremely hard for the middle-class families to be able to, for middle-class families who are paying more weekly for childcare than they are making at their jobs. During one of my phone calls that I initiated in early March, I said something to a unit worker that warranted me being reported for fraud, a place I should have been able to voice concerns, struggles, and be educated. 2 months later, unbeknownst to us that I had been reported, investigators entered our business, demanding I be on site now. I was at home with our youngest children and I dropped race into our center. My pre-K teacher called me 2 more times in a 15-minute time span, expressing the Department of Social Services here saying that you need to be here now. How much longer till you get here? You have to be on site with extreme urgency. I thought it was CPS and someone had turned this in. When I walked in, I was greeted by 2 investigators saying that we were here regarding fraudulent information that you provided to the daycare unit worker. I was asked for all approved and pending families' attendance and billing and information. We started our business with paper and then most recently a transition to an electronic option. I spent 2 hours rounding up attendance with investigators in my office of what I could, and for invoicing, because we had thousands of dollars still outstanding with CCAP, and I was struggling with how I balanced our books at the time to find a better use of a program, which we have. Just shy of 4 weeks later, I received a phone call from a senior investigator notifying me I would be pursued for fraud. I was stumbling during this call in shock. I was told we would now need to wait 3 to 4 weeks for the DA to review and decide what we would be charged with, what repayment plan would be made, what steps for removal from the CCAP program, and the amount of time being suspended from it. I asked if I could see the findings, review what I was being charged with, etc. I was told an excessive amount totaling $2,100. Ironically, at the time, the county owed me over $25,000 in reimbursement. I was also told that the case was quite large, being over 300 pages, and I would have to wait to request and to view anything at a later time. I was told to not reach back out, and that if I wanted to submit anything else for evidence, it would be weighed on the fact that the decision had already been made by the senior investigator and was now being submitted after the fact. We have now been dealing with this since April. I am trying to run a business, a new business, a successful business, one that is employing 10 staff, one that is addressing a massive need with our town, county, and state. I am sitting every day in the unknown because of our county, Department of Social Service. Commissioner, deputy commissioner, anyone, legislators, you're all contributing to the possible shutdown of this and success of what so many are begging for. To qualify not only for the daycare desert grant, but a new child care workforce retention grant that opened last week, offering each of my staff a $3,000 workforce retention bonus and our business an additional $6,000 to retain and recruit. I have to sign an attestation that says I am in good standing with all state agencies. Am I? Can anyone tell me this? Because I can't. And I've now been at this for 4 months trying to get this answer. And where do I go? My next quarterly review is scheduled anytime from mid-August to the end of August. I have $50,000 on the line in August, as well as the additional $200,000 out in limbo right now, because I don't know if I'm in good standing, and neither does New York State. No one will meet with us to discuss it, the pending investigation that we are involved in. We are involved in it, and no one will talk to us because it's a pending investigation. How do we go forward? Now past this, if we're removed from this program, if we are removed from this program, as we were threatened by the senior investigator, what does this do for the families that we are now filling the void for? We have 19 children. As of today, we are offering high quality, safe childcare to that qualify for the CCAP program. We have 3 more that will be starting over the next 2 weeks. I am relieving families in just small town Fraser Falls. We do address 4 different districts that legislators would oversee. $13,240 that I was able to bill in July. That this is not coming out of a parent's pocket. Because we are a brand new business working right alongside our local daycare unit to understand this massive growth. And I mean massive. CCAP has massively changed in the past 2 years, and the heaviest has been the last 12 months. We are going to take something away from families who never had access to it before, give them this taste, and now what? Now they leave their jobs because they cannot afford the cost of adequate fare, or they leave their children home alone. And for any of you that think that doesn't happen, it happens. It happens all the time in rural areas. Children are left at home alone. The program has amazing potential, CCAP. More changes coming this fall locally as the requirements are rolling down from the state level will be fantastic for families and providers. However, even with the improvements we have seen over the past month, there has been some changes locally, and that's been amazing. It cannot stop. Invest in your staff, St. Lawrence County. train them, support them with additional resources. Stop stretching your supervisors so thin that they can't even address questions for weeks because they're overseeing multiple departments. And please, please do not put anyone else through what we have gone through the past month with St. Lawrence County, past 4 months with the St. Lawrence County Department of Justice.
Thank you for standing up.
Thank you all. Okay. Presentation resolution. First up. Fine.
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with New York State Indigent Legal Services for year 5 of the Earl Herring contract.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Curran,
I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with New York State Department of Transportation for accelerated transit capital funds and modifying the 2023 budget for the planning office.
and is there a second? Second by Mr. Burke. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, it's a roll call
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Nisha. Yes. Reagan. Looks like
vote. Yes,
15 yes.
motion carried. Ms. Curran,
I have a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the Office of Emergency Services for a fire investigation team grant.
is there a second? Second by Mr. Smithers, Mr. Jeanette, and Mr. Kenisha. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Hall. Bay.
Yes.
Taggart.
Yes.
Webster. Burke.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli. Yeah. Curran. Aye. Reagan.
Aye.
Forsythe.
Yes,
Lightfoot.
Yes.
15 yes.
motion carried. Mr. Hall,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign contracts with Medicaid managed care organizations and commercial insurances for health provider services.
and is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a letter to Medicare as part of the credentialing process for the opioid treatment program.
and is there a second? By Mr. Fay, Mr. Burke, Mr. Jeanette, and Ms. Curran. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall,
Mr. Chair, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a memorandum of understanding with Fort Drum Regional Health Planning Organization, to participate in a health resources and service administration grant.
and is there a second? And Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Sheridan, and Ms. Curran. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Hall,
Mr. Chair, lastly, I have a resolution planning August as National Immunization Awareness Month.
and is there a second? Second by Mr. Jeanette, Mr. Fay, Mr. Perkins, and Ms. Curran. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Offering resolution for modifying the 2023 budget for the Department of Highways for paving projects and authorizing an additional 2 miles.
seconded by Mr. Smithers and Mr. Perkins, and Ms. Curran, and Mr. Webster, and Mr. Hall. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, is the roll call, Kelly?
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Hall.
Aye.
Bay.
Yes.
Taggart.
Yes.
Webster.
Aye.
Burke. Jeanette.
Aye.
Terminelli? Yes. Kern?
Aye.
Reagan?
Aye.
Forsythe?
Yes,
Lightfoot?
Yes.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Yes.
motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This resolution for approving the 2023 St. Lawrence County Solid Waste Department.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Smithers, Mr. Perkins, and Mr. Curran, and Mrs. Hager. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Chair, thank you. Offering a resolution for workers' compensation self-insurance apportionment for the year 2024.
And is there a second? Second by Mr. Perkins, Mr. Hall. Any discussion? It's a roll call vote.
Denisha?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Paul?
Aye.
Fay?
Yes.
Hager?
Yes.
Webster?
Aye.
Burke?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Aye.
Terminelli?
Yes.
Curran?
Yes.
Reagan?
Aye.
Forsythe?
Yes,
Lightfoot?
Aye.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Smithers?
Yes.
motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This resolution for authorizing the solicitation for bids for renovations at the public safety complex, appointing the owner's representative for works.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Webster, Ms. Curran. Mrs. Hager. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call vote also.
Perkins?
Yes.
Paul?
Aye.
Fay?
Yes.
Hager?
Yes.
Webster?
Aye.
Burke?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Aye.
Terminelli? Yes. Curran?
Aye.
Reagan?
Aye.
Forsythe?
Yes,
Lightfoot?
Yes.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Smithers?
Yes.
Denisha?
Yes.
15 yes.
motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution is for authorizing the creation of the capital reserve in the 2022 budget for the purpose of capital project management.
Seconded by Mr. Smithers, Mr. Venetia, Mr. Perkins, and Ms. Curran. Any discussion? No discussion, this is a roll call vote as well.
Paul?
Aye.
Fay?
Yes.
Hager?
Yes.
Webster?
Aye.
Burke? Jeanette?
Aye.
Terminelli? Curran? Reagan?
Aye.
Forsythe?
Yes,
Lightfoot?
Yes.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Smithers?
Yes.
Denisha?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
15 yes.
thank you. No, the one that's near you. Yeah,
Mr. Chair. Resolutions for setting a date for a public hearing on proposed local law, year 2023, allowing 12 and 13-year-old licensed hunters to hunt deer with firearm or crossbow during hunting season, with supervision of adult licensed hunter. Rescinding local law B, for the year 20.
there's a second by Mr. Venetia, Mr. Perkins, Ms. Curran, Mr. Sheridan, Mr. Reagan, Mr. Fay, and Mr. Webster. And Mr. Forsythe, second. And Mr. Forsythe. Any discussion? Mr. Venetia.
Sure.
All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Jeanette.
Proposed law for year 2020.
Vacancy.
Authorization of innovation.
Is there a second? Mr. Perkins, and Mr. Hall, and Ms. Kern, and Ms. Terminelli. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Light.
I'm gonna have to find it, Mr. Chairman.
No.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution modifying the 2023 budget for the Social Services Department for flooring and cubicles in the Harold B. Smith Building and move for its adoption.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Sheridan. Mr. Jeanette, Mrs. Haggard, Mr. Hall. Is there any discussion? County Administrator asked me about colors the other day, and I'm colorblind. Excuse myself. This is a roll call vote.
Day,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Webster. Bird. Jeanette. Manley. Kern.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Looks
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, County Administrator's report.
Remind you. Since 2016, this will be the first one held. Friday, August 18th, our departure at 9:45, with 3 farms being toured. The Never Tire Farm, the Robert Zufall Farm, and the Woodcrest Dairy. Lunch will be provided and with a scheduled return at 2:10 back to the courthouse. They would like to have all their RSVPs in by next Monday, the 14th. So if you can join us, please let us know. I shared last week, the Finance Committee, what the plans are for lunch. This is brought to you by Cornell Cooperative Extension, the St. Lawrence County Ag and Farmland Protection Board, the St. Lawrence County IDA, St. Lawrence County Board of Legislators, and again, it's the first since 2016. So excited to bring this back to you. Tomorrow, Vacancy Review Committee is scheduled. We have 12 positions to be reviewed in 4 departments. So we'll take those up in the afternoon. Also, I received communication from Office for the Aging Director, Andrea Montgomery. The reminder for the annual senior picnic is coming up. That is Thursday, August 17th. And she spares no one from work when you attend. So if you're willing and helpful to deliver lunch, it is at the Morristown Fire Hall. The event begins at 8:30 and lunch will be served around 11:30. So if you've got the time, I know they would love to help and we'll all be there to help as well. Next Monday, you may remember us talking about our auditors wrapping up their 2022 results. The auditors from Drescher and Malecki will be on site to meet with the audit committee at 4. And then that will be followed by a presentation to the operations committee. So Chair Curran obliged a little bit later of a presentation this year, but we're looking forward to having them present next week. Also wanted just to speak to the Ogdensburg transfer station changes. Many of you have received communications and frustration surrounding the traffic flow pattern and transactional opportunities at the transfer station. So there are changes underway. While we're all held hostage sometimes to supply chain, that has not been spared in this situation. We have a temporary structure that will be placed at the end of the scale for the return trip after refuse and recycling, everything has been dropped off, so that our folks using the transfer stations will not have to exit. So I know that that was the goal. We don't enjoy that at every single transfer station, but in Ogdensburg, we do want to maintain that ability. So there will be ordered a facility or a structure that will be permanent there, but that I believe is a 36-week time. And we know with the season changing, we don't feel it, but when we see the seasons changing soon here, we want to make sure that folks are safe as they're using the transfer station. So that is underway. We'll keep you updated as we make progress with that. Also wanted to mention the current state of emergency that was declared on July 11th would be expiring on August the 9th. However, that will be extended through September 8th. And that follows New York State's extension of their state of emergency, which is now in place until August 25th.
Thank you. Oh.
If I may, Ms. Doyle, would you do the honors?
So I also would like to take the opportunity to introduce our new Conservation District Manager, Casey Savino. She is here tonight. Just wanted to make introductions. She has come in already, met with me, John Burke, who's our representative, along with Mrs. Haggard, to the board, to the Soil and Water Conservation District. She'll be working with me on budget for 2024. And also talking through the ARPA funds being used for the Emerald Ash Borer and the additional hazard tree. So I'm excited to have her on board. She wasn't too far. I believe she had the office next door to Renee Angelansky. Different organization, but she's come to us with a lot of knowledge. Ready? Jump right in.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Sager. All the new business. Does anyone have any? Does anyone have any new? Mr. Smith or Mr. Denisha? Right ahead.
Right ahead. Just to follow up on the county administrator's reminder on the ag tour, I received an additional note. And said that she neglected to mention a couple things in her email. Anyone that's going on the ag tour should dress casual and wear closed-toed shoes. And these will be walking a couple of patients. Visit. So the participants will need to wear sign a waiver.
Thank you. The other new business. Committee reports. Have any committee reports? Session. Have any executive session? See Mr. Buck.
We do tonight for the purposes of litigation, negotiation, and personnel, which is the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. No appointments.
We have a motion. By Mr. Lightfoot, Mr. Paul, Mr. Fay, and Ms. Curran. So, one of the Okay, under chair's appointments, I have two I'd like to announce. First one is Mr. Glenn Webster. He will lead a committee on probation issues to review options protecting our officers. And the second committee is Mrs. Haggard, and that will be the indigent burial committee. Look at the rates that haven't been changed since, I believe, 2013. Good luck. And besides that, we're adjourned. Have a good night.